Hi, I'm Pete, and welcome to Just a Few Acres Farm. I'm back to fixing fence this morning. And today I have to address a really weird problem with the fence, one that I've never run into before. It's going to require this generator, and this grinder, yep, that grinder. We have to head way down to the bottom field here. Look how green everything is. Very nice. Here's the field I dosed heavily with manure. It seems to be blending in nicely for the most part, grass growing up through it. There's a goose down there. One of those Canadian geese. The problem starts right in here somewhere, right along the woods. We'll have to look for it. No, not there. Listen to the birds. Well, sing, birds, come on. There we go. Here's a problem right here, or one of them anyway. You see this? That is not supposed to happen. That, right there. These insulators, of course, are designed to wrap around the fence post and clip on. Now, I will take a new insulator here and wrap it around. And it doesn't latch on the back. Something's wonky with this post. Either this is too long or this is too wide. And it happened to this whole batch of posts right on down the line when we put in this fence. Bad posts, I don't know. We put this fence in 2 years ago, this whole bottom half of the lower field. We fenced it and we said, those insulators are going on awful hard. That's not right. And then I came back last year when I was checking fences and they were all busted. That's not right. Things I have to deal with. Let's see. Right there. Just a little notch out of there. We shall see. Every time you think you've seen it all, something like this comes along. Both of these are busted, top and bottom. Now you may think it's too wide this way and that's why it busted there, but I think it's the force from this being too long that kind of pulls on this, and that's the weak link and it snaps. Well, they're different. This one requires more. I think this is the perfect day for this kind of work. It rained about 3/4 inch last night. Everything is soaked. And believe it or not, even in New York, we have burn bans in the spring because of all the dry, dead stuff that's all over the place after the winter. But after a good rain like this, I'm not worried about grinding next to the forest. This is just such a goofy job. I could never imagine that I'd have problems with T-posts being out of spec. But that's what you get when you buy them at the El Cheapo farm store, I guess. Get on. And they all seem to be a little different, too. Some require more grinding than others. This is just stupid. That's nuts. Nuts. In this batch of posts we use, of course, we bought them all at once. They run all the way around this 5-acre field. 3 sides, anyway. Let's see if I can do this, because I have a comparison. Well, let's go white to white here, just to make it even. I have set a new post that we just bought for this spring's fencing work on top of one of the old posts. And see the difference there? There's a 1/16 of an inch probably. This post is wider, but facing this way it's the same. And if you snap an insulator on this new post, see how that just meets the top of the post and then it clips over and it's got room for the metal to expand and contract and move a little bit? That's the way it's supposed to be. This here is a gate that we don't use very often, but we drive in and out of the woods when we're cutting firewood, so that's why it's here, and it has a common problem. This is where the gate handle used to be, and they always seem to break here. And both of them have broke. Deer run straight down this trail and out into the field this way. And this gate has other problems. See these orange things? These are no bueno. I've had all kinds of problems with them. Electricity will arc. Moisture collects on the top of them. Electricity arcs when they're wet. Electricity can arc from here to the side of the post. I've been slowly replacing all these. At one time I thought they were a good idea. They're certainly not. And they break a lot too. They crack and break. The other thing that's a bad idea is using these tubes on insulators. I've been gradually swapping all of these out all around our fences too. So we'll take all this apart. Get rid of this thing. And put on this thing. These are egg insulators. I call them bullet insulators. I use them at the end of the line and at corners. They hold up really well. I also went away from using crimps. We don't keep that much tension on our fence, and doing a simple wrap like this always holds up. Gotta replace that too. Gotta grind that post and the lower one. Oh, here's something interesting. I have read actually these egg insulators are meant to be, this wire is supposed to go through this hole so it travels along this groove and through here, and then on the other side your fence wire will come along here and fit into the other groove, and that way they overlap in the plastic and you have a stronger connection. I like to do things wrong. I've never had a problem with doing it this way. Just habit, I guess. That takes care of this run of fence, which goes from here down to about there. So now we can walk down the fence line, pick up a rock. Geez, these things keep growing. I don't know. And tension this run back up. Now that I got this run done and tightened, I can start work on the gate. And again, we're getting rid of the tube and orange insulators, and we're putting in bullets. And on this other side of the gate, this is where the handles will latch in. I can't use bullet insulators because if you put in a bullet insulator and then you put a little loop of wire on the end of the insulator to catch the gate handle, you can't unhook the gate when the fence is hot without touching the wire. And that doesn't work. So instead of using empty tubing and threading wire through it, that rubber tubing, I have here wire that's got a real hard rubber sheath on it, and it's bonded to the sheath. So I just strip that off at the ends to begin with. This isn't perfect, but this is the best way that I've found to do this. Life is always a work of improvement, I guess. Live and learn. So that loop goes around here. These suckers are heavy duty, hard to bend. You want to get the wire so it's crossing not at the rubber, because you got to fit the gate latch down in there. That's a little tricky. Sometimes I start at the end and just twist until I get to where I want to be. Bend that down like that. Wow, the Malaysian grosbeaks are really singing today. I like it. Yep. We can reuse these old gate wires, so we'll just take the old remains off. You gotta get off there. I don't know, maybe they're Indonesian titwillows. I thought Malaysian grosbeaks. We'll just kind of hang the new one on there like that. Kink it. And I always like to have juice running through the gate both ways, so both ends of it get connected to the main fence. In case there's a break on one side or the other, you're still getting juice through. And through here. Fencing just gives me an excuse to use my favorite pliers, that's all. That's why I go out and do it. Hook up the gate handles, temporary, and then wire them into the other end. Once again, bonding them to the fence, but leaving the loop on the inside this time, so when you open the gate and swing it in, it doesn't ground out. Yep. And then back to the other side to tighten up the gate handles, so they got a little stretch on them. What's a little stretch is a different opinion between Hillary and I if she has to open the gates. That's a little stretch though. There we go, one gate done. Wish my son Henry were here to drive tractor today, but he's at Boy Scout camp this weekend, so it's just me. We go down the line on this run. We got to fix some issues down here at the corner by my neighbor's soybean bin. I probably should have bought one of those fancy battery-powered grinders for this job, but I think I'm too cheap to do that. And it's nice to give the generator some exercise. What a nice spring day. This grass out here down in our lowest field is pretty much ready to graze. It's at that height. It's probably 6 or 8 inches tall at the tallest ones. Needs to fill in some, but we'll have the cows out on it this week. I'm sure of it. I drove back to the house. I had lunch, came back out, and now it's kind of drizzly. I don't know what it's gonna do. I guess this is spring weather. Hey, I see something in the woods. We should go in there and check it out. It's growing all over in here. Trillium 3. Spring flower in the forest. Most dominant that we have in our forest. It covers the forest pretty much. And I'm looking for something else because I saw them for sale at the farmer's market yesterday and I thought, Yaha, I see some. Ramps, wild leeks. They are delicious, a delicacy around here. These sell for big money at the farmer's market. I think they're difficult to propagate. They just kind of pop up in the forest around here. Everybody's got their own little stash. You dig 10 to 15% of them and you eat not only the leaves, but the bulb that's underneath. There's a little bulb. And they're only here for 2 or 3 weeks in the spring, and that's it. That's all we get them all year long. So they're kind of an early spring delicacy. A tonic, it's said. Eating ramps. Ramps are one of the best crops there is because they're wild. You don't have to do anything. You just go out and harvest them. I wish there were more things like that. There are actually a lot of things, and a lot of folks have forgotten how much there is to eat all around us that you can just forage for. Okay, we got to get back to work. Before lunch, I finished that line along the woods. There was a gate there that I rebuilt just like the first one, and now I'm coming down the long line here. Lots of posts to grind down. Here we go again. Hey, I think I figured out what the problem is. These posts are metric, and these insulators are imperial. That's gotta be what it is. Oh boy. I have some good news. I walked all the way down to the corner of the fence down here, clearing out brambles, and all the rest of the posts on this side are fine. No work needed. We must have mixed posts from 2 different purchases together here, and that's why these are all fine. Here's a corner coming up. I guess the bad news is these posts are all bad. They need to be fixed. But there's not that many on this side. So we're getting there. We'll start right here at the corner. There's one of my tree stands right there up in the tree. I used to have time to hunt before I had a farm. In fact, in my book I wrote about how much I used to hunt, and I haven't hunted in 3 years. Farming takes up all my time. I guess we'll start right here. Just this post needs to be fixed. It's raining, drizzling really, but it's been going on for the last half hour. I think I'm done out here. I made it all the way up this last line to that post right there by the gate. The gate needs to be reworked, and I ran out of line insulators, so I am done. For today anyway. After this I have another day's worth of fixing fence up and around the other fields after I get more supplies. You can see the carnage that's in here. Whenever I'm done with fencing, I wind up with lots of little bits and pieces that are no good anymore. They just get thrown in the wagon. And there's one thing missing that I'm really missing, and that's my favorite pair of pliers. I must have left them along the line here someplace. Hope I can find them. I'm glad I found these. I've had these forever. And it's back up to the house. I hope you enjoyed my fence fixing video. It's not bad work. It's nice being outside in the spring and listening to the birds and seeing the leaves and getting to be active. See you next time.